Ah, greetings. I am the doctor, and I was just telling Rusty and Dr. Tiny about a busy few days I had in late April. Since spring is looking more like spring lately, I had gone to take a walk through Taylor Creek Park to see what all was going on. And then the next day, the gardener called down and asked if I'd like to take a walk through Bluffers Park. And of course, I went and did that as well. And I got quite a bit of film of various things, but what Rusty really wants to see are the animals. And I got quite a lot of birds. So, Yara, if you can load up that footage. Thank you.
Spring was finally starting to look like spring, with green in the grass and buds on the trees. I will not be attempting to identify any of these, given how poorly I am at identifying plants. So here we found some Canada geese, not so many as we sometimes do, and they were all on the other side of this little bay. They gave a jet skier a good honking at, and rightly so. And there was only one swan, taking a nap so I couldn't see the beak to identify it. But someone knows who it is. It has a yellow tracking tag attached to it. As always, we have mallard ducks. Common, but still delightful. I made particular notice of this one lady swimming past, admiring her patterning. Usually the males are thought of as prettier with their bright green heads, but the intricacy and complexity of the female's camouflage is another sort of beauty. Wood ducks are one of our flashier bird species around here. These ducks nest in trees, which means that their babies will have to leap out of the nest, hopefully to land on something soft or on the water. This is a red-breasted merganser. As seems to be usual with ducks, the one with the flashy green head is male, and the brown camouflaged one is female. Unfortunately, they just pass by Lake Ontario instead of breeding here, so there's no chance of seeing any merganserlings. What you can't see on these long-distance shots is that they have serrations on their bills, the bitter to hold slippery fish with. They are also the fastest of the ducks, able to reach 160 kilometers per hour in flight. This is not a duck. It is a double-crested cormorant. While you can see the crests if you look very carefully, the name comes from their breeding plumage, when those crests get all fluffy and white. They ride rather low in the water compared to the ducks and geese that float like fluffy corks. They dive for fish or other aquatic treats. This diving makes them difficult to film for long. Of course, the ducks that were hardest to identify were also the ones who never came close to shore. The only film I could get of them was at the extreme range of my camcorder's magnification. I have tentatively identified them as long-tailed ducks. At least the one with the white around its eyes looks similar, and it does have a long tail, but the brown one with it is throwing me off. But long-tailed ducks have some complicated molts, and look different depending on the season, so maybe that's why I can't find an exact match. This is, of course, not a duck at all. This is a downy woodpecker, male by the red patch on his head. I was most pleased with this. Usually woodpeckers are hard to film, bouncing around the trees as they do. This fellow seems to be hollowing out a nest, so he remained in place for quite a while. Do admire his fluffy little pants.
Well, there. That was some of what I saw on my walks. Did I see more creatures? Well, yes, there were some turtles and a squirrel. You want to see everything. Most of it's just more pictures of ducks. Well, I suppose I can show the rest of it as well. Hira, do continue, and we will simply enjoy the animals.